Hello chess fans, today I wanted to go over the most popular opening against e4, which is the Sicilian defense, which starts after e4, c5. Here, white has three distinctive moves they can play against the Sicilian, which are c3, knight c3, and knight f3. Let's start with the least popular first, which is c3. c3 has the idea to play d4, but comes with the drawback of not allowing the knight to go to the c3 square. So black would do well to take advantage of this immediately with either the move knight f6, and a sample line continues e5, knight d5, and d4. And here black can do well to try to keep pressure on the center. Another move would be d5, which looks to take advantage of the fact that after takes, the knight can't come here, which would usually attack the queen. And a sample line continues d4, knight c6, something like this. And in this position, white would have the IQP, which would be weak because it has no defenders. IQP stands for isolated queen pawn. But black would have less development and less control of the center because this gives the IQP has no equals in the center. So next, let's look at the other move that white can play, which is knight c3. So knight c3 looks to control the d5 square, but comes with the drawback of not immediately going for the d4 move, which is often an important break to allow the bishops to get out. So here, black should really play knight c3, and white has two distinctives planned here. The most common plan is to go with g3 and put a bishop on g2 and develop your piece in some way with f4, d3, knight c3, bishop d2, something like that, in which the bishop on g2 would control the d5 square, and you can check the cards for further information on this. So the second move they have is called the Grand Prix attack, which starts after f4, and the idea is we want to push these pawns on the king side while not having to worry about a break in the center. And this is a very popular way to play at the club level, but after g6, bishop g7, the control of d5 is usually meaning that black is slightly to be preferred. Now the final move that white has is knight f3, and this is the most popular by far and the most complicated. So here black has three distinctive moves. Let's start with the least popular first again. e6 is the least popular and probably not for that good of a reason, because after d4, c takes, knight takes, and knight c6, the position is just about as good as any other position. Notice that black could also play something similar to a knight off here by playing a6, which is considered the Khan variation. And after knight c6, common ideas include knight c3, bishop e3, bishop e2, castles, which is the classical variation, bishop c4, knight c3, queen e2, which is called the Vladimir attack after bishop e3, of course, to defend the knight, and knight c3, bishop e3, queen d2, f3, which is considered to be the English attack. And we'll see these come up in many other Sicilians as well. Next, let's look at knight c6. Knight c6 is a little bit different than the other Sicilians because it goes for a much more aggressive plan to eventually play e5. After d4, c takes, knight takes. Here black should play knight f6, attacking the pawn. Here white should defend the pawn. And here the most popular move played by Magnus Carlsen in the World Championship match in 2018 is e5, this Svechnikov variation. And after knight b5, we target this square. Now this is not too important to know because another option you can play if you just don't want to play against this move is you can play bishop b5, which is much simpler. The idea is just to take this this knight next pretty much no matter what black does, and we're going to play against the weaknesses with d3, castles kingside, h3, possibly looking to f4 in the future, bishop e3, knight bd2, things like this to target the weaknesses on the queen side created by the doubled pawns. This is highly similar to the Rue Lopez if that's something you play as white as well. The final move and the most common move is d6, and here the most common move by white by far is to play d4, and after c takes, the main line continues with knight f3, knight c3, and here black has a few options, but the most popular option by far is a6. And here the last thing I wanted to go over is white's most popular response to a6, which is bishop e3, followed by f3, queen d2, castles, and pushing the pawns on the king side to attack the opponent's likely castled king. After e5, let's just go over the main moves here, knight b3, bishop e6, f3. We can see that both players' plans are coming to fruition with white attacking on the queen side and black planning to castle on the king side and attack on the queen side while white castles on the queen side. This isn't called an opposite side attack. Okay, that's the end of today's video, guys. If you liked the video about this brief overview about the Sicilian, please remember to leave a like and comment down below what type of video you would like to see next. I plan to do this with another opening, and I'm thinking about the Caro-Kann, but if there's any recommendations, I'll be sure to do those. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.